She was born on a spring morning that carried the weight of centuries. On May the 2nd, 2015, as the bells of Westminster Abbey rang, the British monarchy quietly entered a new chapter. Her name, Princess Charlotte Elizabeth Diana of Cambridge. Her birth was not merely a joyful family event. It was a moment of history. The first time a royal daughter's place in the line of succession would be protected by law, no longer displaced by a younger brother. When Princess Charlotte was born, the Succession to the Crown Act of 2013 had only recently come into effect. For centuries, Britain had followed a system known as male preference primogeniture, meaning a younger son could overtake an elder sister in the line of succession. But with the Act, Parliament ended that tradition. From then on, the eldest child, regardless of gender, would inherit first. That single change reshaped royal history. Charlotte became the first British princess ever to keep her place in line even after the birth of a younger brother, Prince Louis. In another era, she would have slipped down the line. Instead, she remains firmly third in succession, following her father, Prince William, and her brother, Prince George. It was a small legislative adjustment, but one with profound symbolism. For a 1,000-year-old monarchy, it marked a quiet revolution toward gender equality, rooted not in protest, but in continuity. To understand Charlotte's title, we must go back 3 years before her birth. In December of 2012, Queen Elizabeth II issued a letters patent, a formal decree under the Great Seal of the realm. Its purpose was precise, to ensure that all of Prince William's children, not only his eldest son, would bear the titles of Prince or Princess and the style of Royal Highness. Without that decree, Charlotte would have been born Lady Charlotte Mountbatten Windsor. The rule, dating from 1917 under King George V, allowed princely titles only for the monarch's children, grandchildren through the male line, and the eldest son of the Prince of Wales. By custom, only Prince George would have been born a Royal Highness, but Queen Elizabeth saw the shape of things to come. She understood that in a modern monarchy, equality must begin at birth, and so she changed it. A symbolic gesture ensuring that her great-granddaughter would enter the world not as a lesser royal, but as Her Royal Highness Princess Charlotte of Cambridge. The title of Cambridge linked Charlotte to her parents' dukedom. When Prince William married Catherine Middleton in April of 2011, the Queen had made him Duke of Cambridge, Earl of Strathern, and Baron Carrick-Fergus. Thus, for the first 7 years of her life, Charlotte carried the graceful title Princess Charlotte of Cambridge. Her early childhood was marked by a deliberate balance, tradition mixed with a modern touch. At public appearances, she waved confidently to the crowds outside Sandringham or St Mary Magdalene Church, yet much of her upbringing took place behind closed doors at Anmer Hall in Norfolk, and later at Adelaide Cottage in Windsor. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, as they were then known, were determined to offer their children a sense of normality, something Princess Diana had once fought for with her own sons. School runs, baking sessions, and bicycle rides were not photo opportunities. They were family life. Still, the world could not help but look toward this small, smiling child, a future royal who already represented the changing face of monarchy. Everything changed in September of 2022. Queen Elizabeth II passed away, ending the longest reign in British history. With her death, the crown passed instantly to her son, now King Charles III. In the first days of his reign, the new monarch announced a shift that carried both formality and emotion. Prince William and Catherine became Prince and Princess of Wales.
I am proud to create him Prince of Wales. With Catherine beside him, our new Prince and Princess of Wales.
With that change, their children's territorial designation shifted as well. Princess Charlotte of Cambridge became Princess Charlotte of Wales, echoing the title once held by her late grandmother Diana, Princess of Wales. It was not merely administrative. The title of Wales carries deep resonance within the royal story, historically belonging to the heir apparent and his family, symbolizing service and connection to the people of Wales. For Charlotte, it placed her within the direct lineage of the future monarch, a princess born of destiny rather than marriage. Today, Princess Charlotte stands third in line to the throne, behind only her father and her brother. That position, though unlikely to result in a crown, holds immense constitutional weight. She is among the first royals raised entirely under the expectation of gender equality, within a monarchy learning to modernize without losing its mystique. Her role, as it evolves, may come to mirror those of her great-aunt Princess Anne, or perhaps Princess Margaret before her, women who served the crown with independence and quiet influence. But unlike them, Charlotte's status was never conditional on her birth order or the presence of a brother. She stands on her own place in history, a royal daughter whose rights were defined by Parliament and affirmed by a grandmother's signature. Behind the palace walls, Prince William and Catherine have long sought to strike a delicate balance, raising royal children who understand duty yet live as normally as possible. At Lambrook School in Berkshire, Charlotte and her brothers enjoy the routines of an ordinary education. Morning assemblies, sports matches, and field trips, though always accompanied by discreet security. Observers often note her confidence. At the Platinum Jubilee in 2022, she gently corrected her brother's posture during the national anthem. At state events, she curtsies with perfect composure. These small gestures hint at careful guidance from parents who understand both the pressures and privileges of public life. Prince William once said that he and Catherine are trying to raise their children in a way that prepares them for the future monarchy, whatever shape that may take. In many ways, Charlotte's upbringing reflects a monarchy still learning to adapt, one that honors its traditions yet recognizes the need for authenticity. What lies ahead for Princess Charlotte? In time, her titles will evolve again, shaped by the reigns to come. When her father becomes king, Charlotte will likely become Princess Charlotte, the Princess Royal, if the title is available. It is traditionally reserved for the monarch's eldest daughter, first granted in the 17th century to Princess Mary, daughter of Charles I. Today, it is held by Princess Anne and can only pass on after her lifetime. Should that honor come to Charlotte one day, it would symbolize continuity, a direct link to generations of royal women who served with quiet strength. Another possibility once discussed among royal historians is the Duchess of Edinburgh, a title associated with service, education, and philanthropy. But titles in the modern monarchy are not bestowed lightly. They carry meaning rooted in duty, not privilege. Whatever style she eventually bears, it will speak to the values she embodies: discipline, kindness, and public service. Charlotte's presence in public life is still rare, and deliberately so. The Princess of Wales has often emphasized that her children's formative years are sacred, a time for family rather than ceremony. Yet, when Charlotte does appear, she radiates a composure well beyond her age. During Queen Elizabeth II's funeral procession, her solemn curtsy at Westminster Abbey became one of the most moving images of the day, a gesture of instinctive respect that seemed to bridge generations. In that moment, viewers saw not only a grieving great-granddaughter, but also a future representative of a dynasty learning to endure through grace. The story of Princess Charlotte is, in many ways, the story of a changing nation. The United Kingdom remains a constitutional monarchy, rooted in law and symbolism. But its monarchy has survived precisely because it adapts. The succession to the Crown Act of 2013 was not a revolution shouted from the rooftops. It was a quiet recalibration of fairness, and yet its effects ripple through the future. When Charlotte was born, her position in line was secured not by privilege, but by principle, a rare instance where law and sentiment aligned. Her titles, from Cambridge to Wales, and one day perhaps to something new, trace the evolution of an institution that still finds renewal through its children. As the camera lingers on images of Charlotte walking hand in hand with her mother, one thing becomes clear: she represents not just inheritance, but intention, the intent to build a monarchy that belongs to its time. Her great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, once said, "Change is a constant. Managing it is the art of life." Charlotte's story is precisely that art in motion, a seamless blend of heritage and hope. Her titles may shift as the decades pass, but each one will tell a story of adaptation, from the Duke's daughter to the Princess of Wales, from the child of Cambridge to a woman of her own standing. In her, the monarchy's oldest traditions meet the promise of equality, the bridge between the crown that was and the crown that will be. She may be only a child now, but history has already written her name into its scrolls. Princess Charlotte of Wales, the little girl who quietly redefined royal destiny, not through power, but through principle. A princess born equal, growing up in the heart of a changing crown.